You're watching Disney Channel. Just kidding. Well, not kidding, because you probably already knew that. But I'm here to talk about how gay romance made me like sports. I don't even know if that sentence is grammatically correct at all, but I said it. So, number one, I want to talk about heated rivalry. And yes, I was tentative, I was hesitant, to say the least, about the series when it first came out. It looked kind of like horny hockey, which, to be fair, not super exposed to horny books and not super exposed to horny hockey players. so, so while I was hesitant at first to watch the series, I eventually turned around, it got hype like the first day or two, and I was like, I need to watch. And I'm so glad I did because now I have heated rivalry induced psychosis, as they say. Air quotes on that one. I don't know who originated the quote, but it's a thing on social media. And what I liked about this series is, aside from being a book adaptation, which I'm pro those for the most part, um, but what I really liked was the fact that it really kind of snuck in as like this horny hockey show with butts and hookups and, secrecy and, you know, tension on the ice, which really hardly not shown in the, the series. Um, but then it really loops you in with the gay yearning and the like discovery of your self-identity and your queerness and the many shades like between Ilya and Shane and like everyone in their universe, and it's just pretty remarkable how the show, I think personally, elevated the source material. No shade to Rachel Reid, but I mean, I've read the first two books as a result of watching the show because, I had to just know if they were similar or if things changed or is it better or worse. And I can confidently say that the show is better than the books. Again, sorry, I enjoyed both, to be fair. Being a part of the fandom's a little weird too. Like, I think online, maybe in my real life, just with me and my boyfriend, we're like, oh yeah, the show rocks. And now my boyfriend's read like three of the books and, big fan. Um, but the fandom, like many fandoms, can get a little crazy. And, not to say that I'm like perfect, right? I'm not anonymously a keyboard warrior or anything like that, but I definitely have gone like the rabbit down the rabbit hole with the people who play Leah and Shane. I've seen Hudson Williams short films, and they're pretty good and very art house and art school vibes, and that's very inspiring to me. I think when somebody loves what they do and they're just kind of like living their life and doing it, like that's impressive. That's Is it an overnight story? No, but I don't want any of those. I want stories of people working their butt off and then finally getting what they want in life. Um, and also talk about manifesting and aligning with your purpose. Connor Story and his very vintage, very throwback YouTube videos where he's like, I want to be an actor. Boy, you did it. I'm so proud of you. But also, like, it's just really cool to see how if we nurture that inner child and like their creativity and like what they want to do, and someday they'll get there, And I think like me personally, I think I am on this like creative journey and hoping that I can reclaim my inner child and those curiosities and kind of tune out the noise somehow. Ugh, it's hot. But a part of that is revisiting things from your past, right? So, like, very on brand with the sports of heated rivalry and me kind of getting interested in hockey, there is this element of Well, did I ever not like sports, or were the ones that I played as a child just, not for me? I definitely played soccer. Like, I feel like every kid in the US and other countries plays, um, or football. But I played soccer. I enjoyed it. One year I was on a team with my brother, and that was fun. And we did really good that year. So, power of siblings works. Siblings on sport teams, rather. And then as I got older, like we tried almost all the things except for baseball because that was an expensive one. I know my brother and I also took tennis lessons as kids, and we definitely were not good at tennis. We also took tennis lessons, like it was like through the city and like budget, like we couldn't afford real tennis lessons. But there were these two girls, also sisters, and they were really like unbelievably good. And for no reason. Like we were like 8 or 10, and yeah, it really discouraged us from that sport. But then I moved on to like at the end of middle school, like eighth grade-ish, I moved on to volleyball, and I really liked volleyball. And we had a coach who was like a fantastic motivator. He was tough. Kalani, if you're out there, he was tough. But like I was like a little chubby going into the season, and by the end of the season I was like real thin. They had worked me to the bone. And I actually got pretty good at it, I think. Patting myself on the shoulder. Like everyone who might see random footage of me from that age will be like, dude, you sucked. In my mind, I was most improved. And also the team voted me for most improved at the award show ceremony thing. So at that point I had like gotten interested in sports. And then I got to high school and I like ran a little bit. Um, and then at some point I was like, I don't know if sports are for me. Like high school sports can be a little, well, at least where I was, could be a little toxic and very like machismo, bro, and I was kind of turned off of sports. That is until heated rivalry. Not to say that I'm not athletic or really gave a college try to other forms of activity. Like, I love swimming. I love Pilates, if you want to call that a sport or just a form of exercise. I've always loved running on and off. I love hiking. Like, I love yoga. Like, I'm more into like the passive exercise and not like, oh, ooga ooga at the gym. You know how people get all crazy at the gym and they can't breathe anymore? That. So, long story short, sports kind of disappeared from my life. And then heated rivalry came, and now I'm like reassessing everything, and I'm like, wait, like, did I even hate sports, or was it the sports that I was playing? And maybe I just like didn't want to be othered or have any attention on me as like a queer child discovering himself. So that's where I was at that. Heated rivalry really put the magnifying glass on things. Um, and then like almost kismet right after heated rivalry, I read this book called See You at the Finish Line, and it's more or less a book about rowing, but it's giving like enemies to lovers and like teammates and like academia. And it's in the UK too, so like I'm a sucker for anything like Cambridge and Oxford and anything with an accent. I don't know if that was a good accent either. Um, but like even throughout the reading of that book, I was curious as to like, what is a cox? What is a or a coxswain? And they're that person at the front of the boat who's like steering the boat and like pacing the boat, but they're not really like rowing. And then I was like, wait, so I'm getting kind of curious about these two different sports that were like not even on my radar, and I'm seeking more information about. And maybe it's just passive information, like maybe I'm a great spectator of these sports and I'm curious to know more. Or maybe I want to try them out. I mean, I see people rowing outside my house in the marina, and I'm like, how do they get there? Like, why do they do that? Maybe I want to do that. And I've done stand-up paddleboarding and I've surfed a little bit, but me in the water outside of swimming, I don't know. I've never really put it, what is it? Put pedal to the metal on it. So long story long, I think I like sports now. And I have gay romance novels and TV shows to thank.